Hello, hello. There you are. Thank you. Thank you for joining us again this morning, my beautiful energy queen. Parents in the room, if you are scrolling around, you must come and find out all about energy, and who better to find out from than our energy expert in the room. So Alicia, we had a chat yesterday as well. We just touched the tip of the iceberg. Is that what they say? We just touched the tip of the iceberg with this work. And today Alicia will be sharing with us some daily rituals that parents can follow, and really what parenting from the energetics is all about. I love that term. I think we've got a coined term there, Alicia. Let's talk about parenting from the energetics. What does that mean to you as a mom, as a busy mom? Like you said, you had all the kids with you yesterday. What was that like for you? What are the challenges? Let's share that. Even though we do this work actively, we face the challenges too. But what's different is that we have the tools which we are so ready to share. So take it away, Alicia.
Oh, thank you so much. So maybe I definitely will talk about the challenges that arise in terms of parenting, and for me and my household, my husband, because we've got different age spread. So some of your parents might have that. So in terms of parenting from the energetics, we were talking yesterday about us as vibrational beings, as energetic beings first. So we are in human form, but I believe that we are vibrational beings. And so there's so much more that is being shared from human to human that is beyond what we are saying. So right now I'm communicating on the 3D level in the human form, where I'm talking and I'm using my body to communicate with you, Yolanda, and with your beautiful friends and community. But at the same time, I'm also communicating on the unseen forces level. And this is not special to me. Every single human, I believe, is doing this, because that is our true nature, is that we are these, if you want to use the word spiritual beings. Some people, that might not feel good. So whatever feels good for you. But once we see ourselves as more than just this kind of blood and bones and the flesh, and we start to realize that we can impact our environment, we can impact how we see the world. Each of us sees the world from our own perspective. And the way that we see the world, very much, I believe, is influenced by our internal view of ourselves and our internal life. And so when we are very conscious, and I'm still working on it, I haven't mastered it, but it's around the discipline of seeing ourselves as this energetic being, then we become much more conscious of the thoughts. We spoke about this yesterday, the thoughts that we allow to dwell in our temple, in our mind, and then also the words that we use outwards and our actions. And so, for example, with our kids, we might be having a thought, we might be thinking, oh my God, that little bugger, he's not listening to me. I don't know, he never listens to me. Again and again, this is happening. Here it is again, right? And so energetically, we are emitting out a vibration that says, he never listens to me. Again and again. And we imprint it and we say, here it is again and again. But yet then we try, from our parenting 3D perspective, to maybe say something different to the child, but the child feels energetically what we are saying to them. And children, more than any humans, are so much more in touch. They're able to communicate through this language of energy. Babies, children, they sense, they have a higher awareness usually. And what happens for adults is we kind of believe that this 3D reality is all there is, and we lose that sense of imagination and energy, whereas kids, they're so in the present. They will say it as it is. They say it as it is. They don't.
Which is why this work is so important in parenting. So important for parents to
Absolutely.
tune into energy. We are, and this is what I teach in my work as well, that's why we're so aligned, is we are energy beings before human beings. And if we can recognize that, and energy is, emotions are nothing but energy in motion.
Correct.
So
Correct.
thought, emotion, action, result. Look at the result that you're getting right now, and become curious about what thoughts am I holding behind this, and what emotions do they bring up, because our kids are 100% pure emotion. So the work really goes back to us, and it's been proven over and over and over again. When parents come to me and say, I just wait for that stage, I take them through 5 stages, Alicia, of empowered parenting or emotional mastery for parents. And I can see around stage 3, where the confidence starts to come up, that parents will say to me these exact words: Yolanda, this is magic.
This is working.
This is magic.
Yeah.
Because they can't believe that all they did was worked on themselves. They changed themselves. They chose different thoughts. They allowed themselves. They asked new questions. And their child changed. Like, what the F is going on?
Yes, because we're all so connected.
I've been trying all this time, and all I did was stay consistent and became that confident parent, and my child magically changed. So spot on. I love the way you explain it and express it. Can you share some daily rituals with us, Alicia?
Yeah, sure. The one thing I just wanted to talk about a little bit is just in terms of the sense of this energetic concept. It's also how we view our child, I think, is really important. And when how I view it, and again, I don't want to impose my views, it's for everyone to have their own perspective. But for me, my children, even though they are in little bodies, so we've got a 4 and a 6 and a 12 and a 14, they are equal to me in spirit language. So they are, in my view, magnificent spiritual beings that currently just happen to be in linear time at this particular point. But they, in my view, have journeyed and done a whole lot of stuff before they've come here. And so sometimes we can really get into that paradigm of, I'm older, I know best, you do what you're told, this kind of stuff. And the spirit within them, they know that's not actually true. They know that I'm not here and they're here. And so that's why a lot of kids will push against that. And parents say, how come they've got so much, attitude, resistance, and there's so much, how can they be in such small bodies and have, be so forceful against me? And it's almost like, who do they think they are? But they know who they are.
They know who they are.
They know who they are. So
and it's up to us to come to terms and know who they are too, and parent them from there.
Yeah, and to allow them to open up, to allow them, rather than, as a parent, we can all think, having expectations is a big thing we could talk about forever. But, we have expectations that our child is going to be this, right? Yes. And we get this child who is that. And so this can be, something that is definitely a challenge for parents, because the child they got is not who they thought they were going to get.
Yeah, and we can limit them so much when we put them in a box and have low expectations of them based on our own perspectives. And when you say how you see your child, question, how do you perceive your child, and what energy do you project onto your child when you see them? So many parents come to me, my child is unmotivated. They're always challenging me. We are putting them in a box, we're putting a label on them, and that's how they're playing out. Yes. There are other qualities to your child. And I love to take parents to get to see that the reason why you place them in this box, the reason why, and this is a hard pill to swallow, is the reason why you restrict your view of your child, or their level of worthiness and their level of their limitations is because we are the projector. It is reflecting back on our own level of worthiness of ourselves. So allow that child to just show you where you're at and where you need to be. You need to raise your own worthiness. The limited worthiness you see within your child is coming from a limited worthiness you have a sense of about yourself. And it's a hard pill to swallow, but it's also a beautiful journey. As parents face that challenge with their child and they're hitting those rock bottoms, the only way is up, and that way up is going within.
Beautiful. And that's why we are not the teachers here. It's our kids are the teachers, and we are the students. We
must just allow them to be that teacher.
Yeah, they're the ones here showing us the way, and they're shining things on ourselves for our, for our own growth. And
it's interesting when we say resistance, because we think they are resisting us. We are resisting our own selves.
There's so much that, like, that's why I think that parenting is the biggest spiritual adventure. It's just, and there's, even if, and you may have experienced this, Yolanda, even you think, right, oh my gosh, I think like, whoa, we're good, we're in the flow, the energy of the family, everything's amazing. And then like within 5 minutes, it's like, whoa, something's it's hitting the fan and it's all gone messy. And, that's, and I think for parents, the expectation, if we have an expectation that our kids are just going to be this perfect, diligent child who is going to just listen to every instruction, is going to follow everything that we do, and anything else is less than, and anything else is us being a bad parent or them being a bad child, and all of this labeling polarity. I think we're just setting ourselves up as parents for just absolute disappointment and distress, because that's not how it works. These are emotional, energetic beings that have their whole own stuff going on, and we've got our own stuff. And so I refer to my house as delicious chaos. Like,
I love that.
It's delicious chaos. Like, it's alive and there's stuff happening, and there's, it's all over the shop at times, but it's also like the messiness of parenting is also delicious. So when we see it from that perspective, and we can just let ourselves off the hook a bit and say, okay, well, I'm doing the best with what I've got, and the love, like, that is what they feel, is just pouring the love. And when kids feel that they have to be a certain way to be loved by their parents, that can create certainly some glitches in energetic relationships.
Let's say it for what it is.
Yeah, and this is,
people create a lot of traumas as they grow up, because our need for love and connection is our core, most human need.
Yeah, that's right. So as a parent, ideally, what we want our kids to feel is that we love them no matter what. And there's nothing that they can actually do that could ever sever that love. Whereas if our child is feeling like, I have to achieve to be loved, I have to achieve to be loved, I have to toe the line always to be loved, I'm not allowed to speak back what I think, and that will mean that they still love me. Like, these kind of things.
And for parents to be able to do that, they need to put themselves first, fill their cup, love themselves. We cannot give what we don't have.
Absolutely. And we were talking about this yesterday, and it's really good for us to model that, I think, to our kids, to say, like, I've got 4 of them, and they're coming, they'll be coming at me all the time. And so just saying, I can't have this conversation with you right now. I am focusing on whatever it is, I'm sitting here and I'm having my cup of tea. And so actually showing them that I am putting those boundaries around myself. And something that, as a little tip actually for parents, it's been a winner for me lately, is that because kids, they always, they've got their agendas. And they're always, they're amazing. The negotiation skills and the way that they can present cases and argue for things, and just like dog with a bone, relentless. So this, parents, right? Your kids are so incredibly creative, trying to always get what they want, and they're good at trying to go for that. So what I've done recently, I've got these 4 books one for each of the kids. And so when they come at me and they say, Mom, and you owe me this money for that, or what about this, and what about, can we do this? And so I just say, go and write it in the book. And then tonight at 8 o'clock, I'll consider, I basically say, like, I'll consider your proposal.
Yeah.
And so it's like, just puts this is for my older 2 who are 14 and 12.
Yeah.
And it just kind
sets
of like,
boundaries and sets limits. Yeah.
Yeah. And also they feel like there's a space where they can put it. If it's urgent, I'm not going to be ridiculous about it. And if it's something that we can deal with on the spot, but it also helps them to articulate and think through, what it is that they're wanting and their reasons. And so that's been something that's been working really, really well. So for those of you who've got older kids, that's something. But in terms of the energy habits, there are things that I do every day that have revolutionized my energy. And the first thing I do is when I get out of bed, I put my feet on the ground and I say, thank you. Thank you. Because when we go to appreciation, everything is in terms of the vibration, that we're tuning closer to our aligned more with the truth of us, of who we really are, which I believe is pure source energy and pure unconditional love and gratitude, compassion, kindness. Those kind of frequencies, they enliven that within us. And so then we are able to open that up, light that up, and to ideally be living from that inside out, rather than seeing all and getting overwhelmed by the external, just always coming. And all of the religions, all the mystics, everyone that talks about finding that inner freedom is about that.
Right.
So waking
they're all
up
saying the
that.
same thing, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah. The next thing I do is I make myself a lemon and ginger drink, a warm drink. So at this point, I'm not allowed to touch my phone, is a really big thing for me. So I'm not allowed to have any connection with my phone until I've done my fill up exercises and my rituals. So get up, say thank you. Then I make a drink, and I've just got this thing that when I'm making my drink, I smile. And again, it's just like enlivening that part of how grateful I appreciate today. How lucky am I to be making this drink, and the little things that we have appreciation for. And there will be plenty of people who do not make it through planet Earth today. And how lucky that I am still here playing in this Earth school. So I do that, and then I go outside, like I spoke about yesterday. I've got no shoes on, and I do breathwork exercises. So I've got on my website under free resources, energy habits, there's 3 that on there that are little videos that I do every single day. One's called Start the Day, and then I do a protect your energy exercise. And not that we have to protect ourselves really, because I think we're connected to everything, but our 3D dimensional self, our energetic field, it can be really helpful to have that boundary around what we will and will not receive into our energetic space in our field. And then of a morning, then not every morning, but ideally I have like a little manifestation book, and I'll try and write some things in there. So it doesn't take a long time, but that's just how I start every day. And then I have a clear the day energy exercise that I do at the end of the night to really like you brush your teeth, you clear out everything. Energetically, we've been interacting and we've gathered a whole lot of stuff. And so it's like I do a clean out of my energy before I go to bed. Say, right, today is done, and I'm clear out and clean out whatever is no longer needed, serving, or required, so that I then go to bed and have a nourishing sleep. And
that is so powerful. Tell us what your life has been since being disciplined about following these rituals. How has this affected your life?
It has revolutionized my life. And I have only been disciplined since April 2018. That's when I started, even though my journey of connecting back to myself started in 2012. It wasn't until April 2018 that I started being very disciplined around these particular rituals. So I've done them since then. And has absolutely changed so much in terms of my energy levels. It's very rare for me to be tired.
Yeah. So why do you think it has worked? Why has this worked?
Because I'm much more conscious that I'm an energetic battery, and I'm much more conscious around ideally being in meditation all day. So you can sit down and meditate for your half an hour, your 10 minutes, your 5 minutes, your 2 minutes, and that's beautiful. But then if you then go back into a day unconsciously, and then you're in your autopilot, and we're in reactivity, and we're in comparison, and we're in guilt, and we're in placing unreasonable expectations on people, and placing our rules on other people. Like we get so disappointed because we place rules upon people about how we think they ought to be in the world, and surprisingly they don't comply with those rules that we've imposed on them that they're not aware of.
It's our need for control when we take away and we let go of control by projecting it on those that we have no control over.
Yeah, exactly. And also that, like, just dropping expectations on people, dropping the sense of having to control. It's exhausting to try and control everything external around us. It's never going to be the answer. So just all I can control is me and how I feel and how I respond and how I react. And then if I've got that in check and can manage that, and as you said, have the tools, then there's kind of like whatever comes. Right. It's like
my goal is that my life be a meditation, not the meditation I do 5-10 minutes, but my life is a meditation.
Exactly.
When I'm with clients, I'm in a meditation. When I am with my kids, I'm in a meditation.
Yes, because you're in the
I'm
zone.
Connected to my breath. I'm detached from my bodily reactions.
Yeah, exactly. And this is around being in the present, because we can become so distracted in our minds. And I'm not saying I'm 100% in the present and I'm 100% meditating through life.
Yeah.
But having just that it's the awareness, bringing that awareness, like, who am I beyond Alicia? Like,
these disciplines bring those awareness, do they? These disciplines allow us to train our mind, train our brain to come into that awareness. And since you've been doing it since 2018, that's just absolutely brilliant. That just allows your body and on a cellular level to have memory of, this is who I am, this is how I choose to be. And that's why we put the energy into these disciplines.
Absolutely. And that's what it does. It's bringing you into the present, where you're really just focused on what you're doing. And that's when I believe, when we're really in the present, we're not thinking about the past, we're not thinking about the future. That's when we can really align ourselves with that source energy that's always available. And what I like to always say to people is, create your own, do whatever works for you, but couple them with something that you always do every day. So these are just some of the ones that I do. There's other ones that I do. Like, I've got one that, when I take my jewelry off at night, I put it in this little bowl, and then I choose my jewelry for the next day and put it in a bowl where I imagine it's charging up in the night. So then
beautiful.
When I put it on, it's like, right? It's like, boom.
Wow. So, Wonder Woman coming to start the day.
Yeah. So these are things that you couple, when you're brushing your teeth, you can look yourself in the mirror and say, I love you.
So making everyday activities a ritual.
Yeah. And things that you always would do normally. It's easier to couple something else, like when you're having your drink, to smile, when you're getting I'm getting up anyway. Yeah.
To start a new habit, attach it to an existing one.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how I've done that. So I've found that it has really just revolutionized. I've never been happier. Like, I know that we've got such a lot of commotion happening right now. And so that might be a bit controversial to say.
Well, it is your truth, though. It is your truth. Say your truth. Yeah, it is what it is. There's no controversy.
Yeah, I know.
It takes courage to shine your light so others can have the opportunity to shine theirs too. And it takes courage to share your truth the way you do as well, Alicia. Thank you so much.
But having said that, right, there's certainly like a shitstorm that goes on. There's still stuff hitting the fan. There's still, you know, life with kids. There's still all of the daily stuff that have to be managed, you know, like homeschooling, like you were asking about yesterday, you know, homeschooling. So we've got the 4-year-old who's home 5 days a week at the moment, which we're not used to, and trying to entertain him, and he's kind of going from person to person, like trying to get someone to play with him. And then we've got our 6-year-old who's in prep, the little sweetheart, trying to do these Zooms and, you know, manage that. And then the 12-year-old who is doing her work, but it's hard to kind of find out exactly what's going on there, you know. And so, and then our 14-year-old, and we're, you know, having to manage him trying to speed through his work so that he can chat to his friends, and, you know, there's and trying to then get them out of the house. So, you know,
so what I'm hearing you saying is about this journey is about being the calm in the midst of the storms of life.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case, that the more we're able to have our equilibrium, our self set, then I think that people around you tend to then, you know, the parent is often the barometer, the energetic barometer for the household. But having said that, I think it's also good and healthy, I don't know what your views are about this, Yolanda, for kids to also know your limits. So for example, last night, so I'm reading, my bigger kids, they don't love reading, and I am a reading, like I love reading. And so it's like, oh my God, they never want to read. So I've started reading to them again. So I'm reading The Happiest Man on Earth, this beautiful book. And so it's taken us, I think, a month, to read this one book. But we are just, not every night, but some nights, like, right, I'm reading with you. So last night, I started reading a chapter, and about halfway through, my kids, one started to play hangman with the other on a piece of paper, and they were like, and I heard the other one say tea or something. And so I just closed the book and I said, we're done. And it's time for you both to go to bed. I said, I'm here and I'm reading with you, and you've decided to engage and play this game. And so I said, I'm done.
That's absolutely right. It's so important for you to be true to yourself at all times. If this does not feel right, this does not feel like you are meeting your need equally. So the parenting journey is about win-win parenting. You need to feel like you are winning here in this relationship with your child as much as your child feels like they are winning too.
Yeah, and just getting, you know, just having our, I guess, being enhanced in the relationship, and it working for everyone. And it won't always work perfectly like that, but it was interesting because what that then did, because I just showed my bound, and they probably thought they could talk me out of it. And then my daughter, she came up to me and she wanted to hug me.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, it's, you know, it's so interesting. Whereas I hug her a lot, but it's rare that she would come to me.
So that's beautiful in itself. She felt that disconnect, which she needs. So she came to find it in another way when she probably felt that, she could feel that pullback. And that's wonderful that you did that, because that honored you.
Yeah, because otherwise, I mean, it's easier. With parenting, it's kind of like, I feel like there's the quick, easy way that we can just give in every time to kids. And it just creates such a big job at the other end. And I've not done this perfectly. Probably if I had my time again, I would have been a lot more, I would have been stricter. Like I've been an uber relaxed parent. And so now I'm actually finding my way and putting more boundaries around.
So what I teach, and this might be helpful for you, is the emotional bank balance. So there's one, that being that uber easy parent is fine, but what our kids need is structure, limits, boundaries, correction when they're wrong, and setting expectations of what that needs to be there equally to create that emotional bank balance. Otherwise, we're giving too much. Or we are asking for and expecting too much. So at the end of each day, how is my emotional bank balance? is it in balance? Have I done both, or have I just been on one way? So that's a good check-in that I teach in my work with the parents that I work with.
Yeah, I love that concept with all relationships and
with all relationships
and with your partners, those of you who've got partners
absolutely.
in relationship. It's like, you know, we'd want to be able to just keep putting those deposits, those emotional bids into your relationship, because otherwise, you know, when the things get stormy, and they will, I mean, I've been with my husband for 20 years, and like, you get the whole hoo-ha, right? And you know, whether or not that we can withstand that. Yeah.
It's been a pleasure chatting with you, Alicia. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Do put in the comment section if you want to hear more from Alicia, guys. Give us a thumbs up, say yes please, we would, or say energy, say parenting from the energetics. Say it out there if you found what Alicia has shared with us valuable, because I absolutely did, and I love having her sharing in our group and really changing the energy in this group, bringing us on a path of parents shifting the way we parent. Let's make it about us. Let's make it about our growth. Allow our kids to be our teachers, and allow ourselves to be open to the learning. Allow ourselves to ask more questions and question what's showing up. If we are the projectors, then let's choose the film that we put into our projectors so we can project out onto our kids, project out onto our partners, the desired reality that we want to create.
Yeah, seeing it first. Like seeing, you know, your child engaged and, you know, finding something they really love, rather than thinking, oh, they're not, like what you said earlier, oh, they're not motivated. It's like starting to see that, starting to vision that and create that.
There will be parts of your child that you absolutely love. It's just that you haven't been giving it much focus. So shift your focus into those parts of your child so you can magnify it and it can amplify in their being.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you so much, Alicia. What a
pleasure
to have you. For the parents watching, do put in your comments. We're looking to hear your feedback. How did you find Alicia's share today? Do put that in. If you're raising teens, we've got a Raising Teens event coming up. It's our teen mini course happening next week on the 15th of September. It's at 9 a.m. So it works with parents who are joining us from the US and from the UK. So we look forward to having you all. We'll put the link in the comment section. We hope to see you then. And thank you so much, Alicia. Do put in the chat box where parents can reach out and find out more about this amazing energy work that you do.
Oh, thank you, beautiful. Thanks for having me. I love you. Have a beautiful day.
Love you too. Thank you. Bye.
See ya.